Hey everybody, it's Dan. Let's talk about Bitcoin in 2021.
You and me stuck on the ocean now, nothing but waves in this filling in. I wanna dry up, but you just keep on going, don't you?
And good morning everybody, it's Dan Latto. We're just going to head down to the beach. But while we're heading down, I just wanted a quick word about Bitcoin and what that is going to happen in 2021. Now, I do not have a crystal ball, as I'm sure you're aware. However, we've done pretty well on calling stuff so far, and actually, if anything, I'm kind of kicking myself for not following my thoughts about certain things more. Like, for example, Tesla. I knew Tesla was going to blow up. It was obvious, and when we look back in 10 years' time, we're going to look back at now, we're going to go, sir, no-brainer, like Amazon is a no-brainer, like Apple was a no-brainer. I still think Apple won't be here in 10 years. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Whenever I go for negative, go to the dark side, I'm often wrong on those. It's the positive, more aspirational ones I'm quite good at. That gets me onto Bitcoin. So we knew about Bitcoin a while back, and we just never invested. And we knew that Bitcoin was this thing, it was this force to be reckoned with, and obviously it went up to 20 grand. And we were invested by then, by the way. We got in much earlier than that. But then it drops, and you're like, oh, really? And it goes down to $3,500. And you're like, not sure. And you're not sure because you have this idea of following everybody else. And think about this for a second. This is a digital economy. You know, somebody moved, I don't know, 400 billion of Bitcoin. It cost them $2.83 and it took 15 minutes. As you may well know, Tesla just bought 1.5 billion. Bitcoin's got a market cap of 850 billion, of which Tesla has a 1.5 billion. That's a huge amount. Apple, like, mark my words, don't know when this video's coming out, but Apple, they're going to bought some if they haven't already bought some. That's the rumour. What do I think? I think you need to be invested in Bitcoin. I think you need to be invested in some of the other coins as well. But, and let me put a caveat on this. When I say invested, I mean you need to gamble on it. Right? Because that's what it is. It is pure, unadulterated gambling. It's not investing. Is it the future? I absolutely think so. But like I say, I haven't got a crystal ball, so it totally might not be. But if, you know, and this was the argument, oh, Bitcoin's on its way back to £1. Listen, if Bitcoin goes to £1, I'm buying as many of those bloody things as I can. So that's not going to happen. I don't see that happening. But I do see, in you know, when we look back 20, 30 years from now, if we're around, Bitcoin, which is the new gold standard as far as I'm concerned, it's like buying into gold 200 years ago. And everyone's saying, but it's got no value, it's not used for anything, right? Like Bitcoin. And you're right, it hasn't. But look at where we are with gold. So, and it's digital, and you don't need a, you know, vault to put it in. So, yeah, Bitcoin, I would be going for it, quite honestly. Now look, this is the thing. On anything like this, you've got a dollar cost average. You know, if you've got 10 grand available and you're going, oh, do you know what, I'm going to put it into Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's like $40,000 today, whatever that value is. And you put, you know, 10 grand in, and tomorrow Bitcoin goes down to 20 grand. And that's a real problem because it's just dropped by 50%, and that's a problem. So you've got a dollar cost average in. And that means you put in £1,000 a month every month for the next 10 months. And people will say, and this is the thing, they have this fear of missing out and go, yeah, but what if it goes to $80,000? And I'm putting in $1,000, I'm losing, and that's absolutely right. But trying to time the market is a much worse strategy than time in the market. Let me say it again the other way around. Time in the market is more important than timing the market. That truism, it's a silly word, is that? Truism is more true today than it ever has been. That's a silly phrase as well. But dollar cost average, you know, and this is the other thing I wanted to say on Bitcoin, is that if you've got no other investments and you're going straight into Bitcoin as your investment, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. to have to say that. But what the hell? What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, one of the sayings, you know me, I've got lots of sayings, and I come across these every so often on things like Instagram. I'm like, that's really good. And the other one is, if your car payment every month is more than your investment payment, you're doing it wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're just starting out, you need a car, you absolutely do. You can pick up a Nissan X-Trail for £1,000. It'll go forever. Trust me on this, because I've done it. I've always bought cars around £1,000, and I just run them into the ground. Because let's face it, the price doesn't go up. It doesn't depreciate, I should say, if the price goes up. But you know, you've got to think about what your risk element is in terms of Bitcoin, which is pretty high, because it's volatile as anything. It's beyond volatile. So you've got to think about, what are you going to be doing for your investments? And if it's Bitcoin, like I get the idea, I'm just going to go all in, and you're going to put your trust in one particular asset class. Now, let's face it, Bitcoin is an asset class. You know, crypto is an asset class these days. It used to be stocks and shares, business, and property, and yourself. They're the four, and then now I would say crypto is definitely one. But if you're just going down on one, like, what's your backup plan in case Bitcoin gets legislated against? Was it Ripple that got legislated against last month, and it dropped because the SEC in America basically shut it down? Like, you know, what if something like that happens? And I don't know enough about it to say that that's not going to happen, or that is going to happen. But I don't know enough about it. But if Bitcoin is your primary way of investing, I think you've got a bigger problem. And it's a lack of financial education, which is a bigger problem here. And it's also FOMO, fear of missing out, because everybody else is getting Bitcoin and you're not. And this fear of missing out, missing the train. And I get it, it's very real. I feel it sometimes as well. But you have to diversify your investments. If Bitcoin is your primary investment, it's a gamble. I said to someone on Facebook yesterday, why don't you just go up to the roulette table, put it all on red, hope for the best, because that's really Bitcoin. Like, nobody knows. Like, probability wise, it's headed up. I'm absolutely convinced of it. But I'm not that convinced to remortgage houses to put all my worldly possessions into it. That would be silly. And yet that's what people are doing. You know, if you're driving a £500 a month BMW, is the question, should I cancel that, hand the car back, buy myself a Nissan X-Trail for £1,000, and put the money into stocks and shares and crypto and property and self-education? Yes, absolutely. Because most people are trying to look good rather than have any form of asset class. They spend more money on takeaways than they do on investing. Crazy. What the heck? I just don't get it. It's so important. It's like rule 101. It's like the very start of learning to invest is to actually, you have to invest. Right? You have to actually put money out there so that you can, you know, invest it into funds and so on. So, look, if you're so keen on Bitcoin, I think that's wonderful. But I also think that you need to diversify your portfolio so that it's not all just based on, make sure that we're over the dog. It's not all based on whether Bitcoin's going to go up or going to go down today or tomorrow, because it goes up and down today and tomorrow all the time. Anyway, I hope that's useful. That's my take on Bitcoin for 2021. I do think it's heading up, but I'm not so convinced that I'm prepared to put everything onto it, because I think that's a silly thing to do, quite frankly. Anyway, let me know what you think, and we'll catch up with you in the next video. We're just at the beach, a little bit overcast today, but we don't mind. It's a nice walk along the seashore at the Mediterranean beach, which is always nice. Alright, have a good day. We'll speak to you soon. Take care.